Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case talking about freedom of speech, censorship, and propaganda. Not the same thing. Guys, before I go on, anyone interested in this sort of thing, especially given everything going on in the world, you want to get street survival skills, you definitely want to get Surviving the Economic Collapse, because this is something you are going to be seeing. You're already seeing inflation destroying a lot of people around the world, and it's just getting worse. Bugging out and relocating. These three are my books covering a wide variety of topics that you may want to look into. So, if there's any doubt, I've suffered censorship from YouTube myself. You guys may remember we were doing a live stream with Matt Bracken. We got pulled off the air live. The transmission was ended because of, we were talking about the health issue that's affecting the world this last couple of years, right? Look at how I have to talk. I have to be careful with even the words I say, because if not, YouTube gives me yet another strike. And I've been collecting those for the last couple of years like crazy. Every time you get a strike, you're this closer to getting your channel completely closed. And also demonetization constantly, every little thing that they don't like. So freedom of speech has been greatly impaired in the outlets, the media that's in the hands of the elite. Yes, of course, Google, YouTube, these, if you go up the ladder, the same financial groups, the same 2 or 3 largest financial groups in the planet, they own everything. They own YouTube, they own Google that has YouTube, they own the pharmaceuticals, the military-industrial complex, they own the media. So they own absolutely everything. Now, it is very interesting to see how, on one hand, the guys in Canada have their bank accounts seized, they're not allowed to express themselves freely, peacefully, and they're labeled as almost terrorists, Nazis, fascists, or whatever horrible name they can attach to them. Now, on the other hand, if you are doing Russian propaganda, that is fine. YouTube is okay with that. They don't have a problem with having Russian propaganda in the middle of a war. That's okay. A horrible dictator attacks a peaceful nation and it's slaughtering people. That's okay. Not an issue. And this is not free speech. It has nothing to do with free speech. It's always been the case that free speech does not include crimes or war crimes. If you are, doing illegal activities and using YouTube as a platform, you have a channel where you have girls using makeup, but it turns out that those girls are actually being sold and auctioned, then it's not just about little girls having makeup. You have a criminal organization, and of course we all agree that should be brought down and probably criminal charges brought. So we all agree that free speech does not include criminal activity. That's never been the case. On one hand, we're not allowed to have free thought and free discussion, but not just criminal activity, your everyday crime. We're talking about war crimes. We're talking about dictator as we've never seen since World War II, committing some of the most horrible things we've ever seen, and YouTube being okay with allowing him to have a platform for his propaganda. This is criminal. This is something that, of course, they have no shame. These people have none. And I'm talking about YouTube, Google. Of course, that these, old bastards with that titanium Teflon covered face, shamelessly, oh yeah, we are just doing some maneuvers. These are just some operations. We're defending ourselves because, yes, we had no other option. Of course, they're shameless. They're monsters. But the idea that this is allowed in I don't know, what you would consider like a Western tech company, right? Somewhat with that. Well, this is how it shows that it's all the same thing. It is all the same elite benefiting from all of this. And yes, when you're talking about the elite, you're talking, of course, as well about Vladimir Putin, who is one of the, if not the richest man in the face of the earth. So it all, goes in a circle of mutual benefit, often economic benefit. But I'm just surprised that with everything that we've seen, everything we suffer, guys, the Department of Homeland Security now has changed what a terrorist is. If you're spreading misinformation, spreading misinformation may be whatever the heck they feel like labeling it as, anything that goes against their specific narrative at that time, you may end up being labeled as a terrorist. But for actual terrorists, criminals, dictators, slaughtering and bombing people, that is not a problem for YouTube. Well done, YouTube. Awesome. Guys, it's going to be all for now. See you in our next video. Take care.